How to calibrate the light sensor on an NXT robot. The first thing we want to do is to make sure that the actual light sensor is attached to the right port, in this case port number 3. So we just reach around and trace the way the cord goes from the light sensor to the port. If it's in number 3, we're all set. If not, just make a note of what port that the light sensor is plugged into, because that's important. Okay, we will start by opening a new document. And one of the first things we want to do is we want to just establish that we are indeed connected. So you see our connection there. We'll connect. You know you're connected when the battery shows you what the battery level is. We'll close. And then we go to Tools, Calibrate Sensors. And we're going to select Light Sensor, and we establish that it's going through port 3. Make sure that you check port 3. It's not always on the right sensor. And then you press Calibrate. And we are done. Press Close. Now we're going to set the light sensor directly over the lightest and darkest parts that it's going to encounter. We'll start with the darkest, and that's its minimum value. With it set, we press Enter, and then once we enter it, it immediately goes to maximum value. The maximum value is the lightest environment it's going to encounter. So we move it over any other place that doesn't have the dark tape. We press Enter, and now we have the light sensor calibrated. Okay, so now that we've gotten things calibrated, let's put it inside a loop to move it. The first thing we need to do is we're going to have it move until it senses something. And so we're going to set this to unlimited because it's going to be inside of a loop. And we're going to pull the power back because we don't want the robot to go roaring over the line and miss its sensors. And then we pull in a loop and put the movement block inside of it, and we select the one thing that's going to break it to be a sensor loop. That sensor loop is going to be the light sensor, making sure that that's on number 3. And we're going to put it back to the light, and we're going to bring it down to about 30 just to make sure that it's sensitive. You can always play around with these to get it to be more sensitive. We have the generate light, and then this is going to continually go around in a loop until this condition is met. This condition is hitting the sensor. Excuse me, having the light sensor be triggered. And since we've calibrated it, it's very sensitive to our exact conditions. And let's make this, let's put a sound in. Sounds are always fun. So it lets you know exactly what's happening. Oops. A sound is useful in programming environment because it tells you exactly where you are. We'll say goodbye. Very good. And then we'll make this a backup. So when you're hearing the sound and seeing it back up, you know that the sensor conditions have been triggered. And let's take a look at it.